You will never achieve success by ensuring against failure. Just take a second and let that really sink in. It's such a powerful statement about embracing risk, isn't it? And it comes straight from the memoirs of a man who built a literal legendary career by constantly stepping completely out of his comfort zone. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the absolutely incredible life journey of Sir Patrick Stewart. We're going to explore Stewart's fascinating ascent, which he meticulously details in his autobiography, Making It So. We'll trace his path all the way from a pretty gritty working-class town in northern England to his ultimate status as a global icon of stage and screen. Honestly, it's this amazing story of sheer grit, theatrical mastery, and the completely unexpected twists of fame. So here is the journey we're taking today. 1. Yorkshire to the stage. 2. Becoming Captain Picard. 3. The art of acting. 4. The hidden costs of fame. 5. Renewal on the stage. And 6. A legacy of connection. Okay, let's dive into this first chapter of his life. Chapter 1. Yorkshire to the stage. You know, it is almost impossible to reconcile the polished, highly authoritative figure we all know today from Hollywood with his incredibly humble and frankly challenging beginnings. Stewart grew up in a really tough working-class environment in Muirfield, West Yorkshire. His father, Alfred, was actually a regimental sergeant major who returned from the war with a deeply volatile temper. Stewart witnessed domestic violence firsthand, which is obviously a massive, heavy burden for a child, but it profoundly shaped his understanding of struggle. And amidst all that chaos, he found a safe haven. He found real solace in the local theater, a place where he could just escape and transform. And his sheer determination forged the foundation of his success. As you can see, he started small in his childhood, joining local amateur dramatic societies. Then he moved on to drama courses at Mytholmroyd, and eventually, in his early 20s, earned a spot at the incredibly prestigious Bristol Old Vic Theatre School. By 1966, he had officially joined the renowned Royal Shakespeare Company. I mean, he wasn't handed anything, right? He built his craft, step by deliberate step. Let's move to and see how this builds into Chapter 2, Becoming Captain Picard. Now, this is exactly where our classically trained Shakespearean actor crosses the threshold into the wild, totally unpredictable world of Hollywood. And here is a truly surprising fact for you. Stewart was completely skeptical about taking on the role of Captain Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek The Next Generation. Like, no joke, he was virtually unfamiliar with the franchise and actually believed the show wouldn't even survive its very first season. It's a wonderful bit of irony, isn't it? He literally packed a single suitcase, just assuming he'd be right back in England doing Shakespeare in a few months. But, well, of course the show was an absolute massive hit. His journey on Star Trek, though, involved a really steep learning curve. He had to adjust to the grueling, super fast pace of American television production. In those early days, he was notoriously serious. I mean, he even scolded his castmates once, telling them, "We're not here to have fun." But over 7 seasons, that initial strictness completely melted into this deep camaraderie. He learned to relax on set, and in doing so, he totally transformed from a respected theater actor into an absolute household name. Chapter 3. The Art of Acting. So, how exactly does a guy trained to project his voice to the very back of a massive theater adapt to the intimate, scrutinizing eye of a camera? And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. Stage training requires rigorous text analysis, establishing a massive physical presence, and doing multiple deep readings just to find the character's core. Screen adaptation, on the other hand, requires intense nuance and subtlety. Stewart's absolute genius was realizing that the camera detects every single false note. He had to take the incredible depth of his stage training and basically compress it down into quiet, deeply truthful moments on screen. And at the very core of that truthfulness is this one crucial concept: vulnerability. Stewart defines this as the act of letting go of fear to embrace one's true self on stage. It is absolutely essential for deep, authentic performances. And I want you to think about that for a second in your own life. How might overcoming your own insecurities, just letting your guard down a little bit, actually lead to greater confidence and deeper connections in your day-to-day life? Because for Stewart, it unlocked everything. Chapter 4. The Hidden Costs of Fame. Massive global success rarely comes without a heavy price. And Stewart's memoir is incredibly candid about this. He completely refuses to gloss over the darker periods of his ascent. The intense demands of his rising fame put immense strain on his personal life. It contributed directly to the end of his 24-year marriage to Sheila Falconer. He spent long, demanding periods away from home, which naturally led to diverging life goals. But most poignantly, he admits to a lingering guilt over the impact his prolonged absences had on his two children. It's a very grounded, deeply vulnerable admission of failure from a man the entire world viewed as a total success. Fortunately, though, the story doesn't end there. Through some really intense self-reflection, Stewart actively worked to find balance again. He put in the difficult emotional work to mend those frayed bonds with his adult children, and he eventually discovered peace and even new love later in life. It's a vital reminder for all of us. Honestly, maintaining healthy relationships takes ongoing, deliberate work, no matter how successful you might be in your career. Chapter 5: Renewal on the Stage. So, armed with a renewed sense of self, Stewart sought a creative reset. He decided to bridge his newfound mainstream television fame with his first greatest love, the theater. And he did this through Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. It started super simply, just as a small reading for charity, but it quickly evolved into a full one-man production utilizing incredibly minimal staging. Ultimately, it exploded into critical acclaim on Broadway and at the Old Vic in London. This passion project completely reinvigorated his creative spirit. I mean, he was captivating massive audiences using literally nothing but his voice and physical presence, earning incredibly moving praise from Hollywood legend Kirk Douglas along the way. In this room, you are always safe. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it perfectly encapsulates a guiding principle for Stewart. It reveals his core philosophy and reflects the deeply supportive environment he actively champions in the arts. He firmly believes that to take the creative risks necessary for truly great art, artists absolutely must feel entirely safe with their collaborators. Chapter 6: A Legacy of Connection. Ultimately, Stewart's life work isn't just about the roles he played. It's really about the people he played them with. Throughout his entire career, he formed these unbreakable bonds. He forged lifelong friendships with his Star Trek castmates, people like LeVar Burton, Jonathan Frakes, and Brent Spiner. He maintained enduring ties with his old Royal Shakespeare Company colleagues, most notably, of course, his famous Beautiful Friendship with Ian McKellen. These collaborations provided a vital support system of mutual encouragement. And honestly, it frames a beautiful, universal life lesson for all of us. The relationships you build are just as important as the work you produce. So, the crucial point is this: Patrick Stewart's legacy demonstrates that you really don't have to choose between high art and popular culture. Bridging classical theater with mainstream sci-fi media simply requires a deep, unwavering commitment to authentic, truthful performance. Whether he was playing a Shakespearean king or a starship captain, he always searched for the core humanity of the character. We started this explainer talking about the absolute necessity of embracing risk. Stewart left the safety of the British stage, stepped onto the bridge of the Enterprise, and completely changed his life forever. So I'll leave you with this question to ponder. If Patrick Stewart found his greatest success by stepping completely into the unknown, what risks are you waiting to take? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.